Question from James and then Thelma.
I think the distinction here is between those that have elected to home educate and those that feel forced out. And there is a growing number of young people for whom home education becomes really the only alternative for them because they're being let down in mainstream. And I would just caution against linking the two to some, what I'll put indelicately, middle-class outrage at the choice factor in home educating, which I suspect is what you're referring to in a convenient 10 years ago, which of course wasn't your government, and the situation that you are now presiding over, which is an explosion of excluded children who are now at home not being educated. So to that point, should children that are home educated, should they remain the responsibility of the school that they most recently attended vis-à-vis the results that they achieve?
I think it's a very complicated landscape because, as you say, some parents may be doing this for the reasons that you've just suggested, but the statistics don't really bear that out. For example, if you look at the admissions rates and the percentage of parents who get their top three choice at either primary or secondary, it's up in the mid to high 90s. So I don't think
this isn't, with respect, Minister, this isn't about applications process and people getting the school of their choice. This is about in-school, in-year failure to include children of all levels for whom they are then presented by the school or left with very little alternative but to home educate. And the Education Policy Institute confirmed that the most recently collected figures out in recent weeks, 55,000 children for unexplained reasons have disappeared from the schooling system. And I put it to you, that is not the middle classes electing to home educate for a whole reason, a raft and reason. This is a failure of an inclusive education system.
So can I say just? I mean, I think we take that really, really seriously, and we read that report very seriously. And there is a review going on into exclusions led by the former Minister Edward Timpson that should be reporting shortly. The new Ofsted inspection framework is tightening up on that whole area of exclusions and off-rolling, looking at leadership and management through that lens. Looking at behaviour and attendance as one of the sub-judgments. I think we're acutely aware, that any exclusion has to be, reasonable, lawful, proportionate. We also know we have lots of leaders in schools who never came into teaching or becoming a head teacher to exclude children. They didn't do that. They work in communities where, those children need just different and new life chances. So we're trying to balance all of that. Those kinds of numbers are ones that we would take really, really seriously because we know that we want an inclusive education system where young people get the chances they need, and that we don't have any kind of off-rolling or illegal off-rolling. We're watching that really, really closely.
To that end, my final point, Chair, to that end, from both of you, simple yes or no, do you support the removal of the category other as one of the reasons a school can cite in excluding a child, which now represents 20% of all exclusions on this government's watch?
Yes, I do entirely support that. I'm worried about the gaming of the coding system for non-attendance is completely labyrinthine, and a number of the codes don't have to be reported. So there is something called a B or a D code, which is a child that's sent home to work at home. Well, what in the hell does that mean?
Excellent. Thank you.
So I support that.
I'm not surprised, but thank you for confirming.